So more and more celebrities are speaking out this election cycle, I do believe, than ever before. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've always had Rock the Vote and things like that, and celebrities and athletes and people have always spoke out and expressed their opinions around election time. But this go around, it all just hits different. And suddenly we catch ourselves aligned with people who we never thought we would be on the same side with. And the reason why we're on the same side of them is because they too want to see American democracy preserved. And they too see the threat that Donald Trump poses to that. Now, the right gets upset when we say things like that, and they say that we should turn the temperature down in the room, but we're not the ones who turned it up. When you have somebody out there saying that we are the enemy of the people, that we're the enemy from within, and he has clarified on more than one occasion that he's not talking about people coming across the border. He says we are worse than that, and that we should be handled by the National Guard and by the military if necessary. And I've shown you those clips here on the channel, and so many in the pro-democracy movement have shown those clips over and over again. We've brought those receipts. And so we see more and more celebrities speaking out and coming out and saying these things out loud because everyone's trying to get people to grasp just how serious this whole election cycle is. We've never been here before. This is a spot we've never been. But here we are. And here's Eminem coming out and saying that Americans don't want to live for fear of being arrested by the military if they express a different opinion. Take a look.
So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me. And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
He's right. We should never have to live under that kind of fear. That should have never been a thing here in the United States of America, and it wouldn't have been 20 or 30 years ago. I remember a time arguing with my Republican friends and them warning me about a dictator, them talking about how serious it was, and the very people that used to sit and warn me about a dictator are sitting back saying, oh, he don't really mean that. He wouldn't actually do that. That's just rhetoric he uses on the campaign trail. Why would you be for this kind of rhetoric? Why would you be for a man running for re-election saying that Kim Jong-un thinks Obama is a jerk, and he does too? Take a look.
He didn't respect Obama. He thought Obama was a real jerk. A real jerk. And I think he's a real jerk because I've watched him campaign over the last couple of days. I watched him campaign. What a divider he is, right? What a divider he is. He'd divide this country. He couldn't care less. Him and his little group of people. He was terrible.
Okay, so think about this. When The Undertaker had Donald Trump on his podcast, he actually said to Donald Trump, I wish we could get back to a time when Americans could just agree to disagree on politics and we wouldn't be so divided. Well, we all long for that time. But since when did it become okay? Since when does Kim Jong-un's opinion mean jack shit to anybody? And since when is it okay to stand up and talk about a former American president and say that this dictator thinks this former American president is a jerk, and I think he's one too? And he had a crowd sitting there cheering that on. They're cheering for that. And as he hears them cheer for that, he thinks, hey, I can rule them with an iron fist, just like President Xi. Take a look.
President Xi, I got to know him very well. He's a fierce individual. The press, the fake news hates when I say that he's a brilliant man. He runs 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. If I say he's a brilliant man.
So to my Republican friends and to the people who are still hanging on to Donald Trump because the grocery bill's high these days, When did rhetoric like that become okay? For the ones that warned me that if we had health care in this country, that would lead us to a dictator, when did it become okay to say that this man rules his people with an iron fist? He is so proud of that. Those are the people that he sucks up to. Those are the people that he praises. Those are the people he praises over an American president. You want to talk about, well, you wish you could get back to the days when we could put our political differences aside, but your front runner is the man who is quoting a dictator against a former American president? That's how did we end up here? How did we end up in this boat? And right now out on the campaign trail, the only thing we've heard from Donald Trump, except nothing but verbal diarrhea and concepts of a plan, the only thing we've heard is his personal grievances. And I'm with Kamala Harris on this next clip. It's getting pretty damn exhausting.
Well, I'm clearly a woman. I don't need to point that out to anyone. The point that most people really care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I hear you on
and that is why I spend the majority of my time listening and then addressing the concerns, the challenges, the dreams, the ambitions, and the aspirations of the American people. They deserve to have a president who's focused on them, as opposed to a Donald Trump who's constantly focused on himself. I think that's part of why people are exhausted with Donald Trump and his approach, because it's all about himself and his personal grievances, and not about the American people, not about how are you going to help families, how are you going to help small businesses, how are you going to strengthen our economy. These are the things I'm focused on. I'm focused on investing in the new industries on which America should lead and be a global leader.
Folks, there are people out there who just absolutely live in a bubble, and so you're going to hear a lot of stupid quotes as we get closer and closer to the election. You're just going to hear more and more stupidity. You're going to hear people going, she needs to explain herself more. I want to see her policies. I think Trump will be stronger on the economy. I think Trump will be stronger on the world stage, and all the other just brain rot that they throw out onto the world. You're going to hear all that. I mean, it's been amplified this entire time, and it's just going to get louder as we go forward. But anyone who thinks that stuff, I don't know how they walk upright. I really don't. I don't know how they chew their food with their mouth closed, if they do. I really don't, and I'm not trying to sound condescending, but if at this point in the game, one American votes for Donald Trump, that's one too many. I mean that, sincerely. Anyone who is still there, listen, I've had people on my podcast that voted for him in 2016, had people that voted for him in 2022, or 2020, I mean, they didn't think that it would get as bad as it did, but it has. And there's a lot of people who have walked away from it, but there are still those hanging on. There's still those hanging on. And if there's one of them, it's one too many. And if there's one of them, it's because they do not see the threat that's coming straight directly at them. I've made this analogy before, and my mom likes it, so shout out, Mom. It's as though they're standing in a train track. They got a boom box up next to their ears, some headphones on, and they're just dancing away, and they don't see the train that's coming. And I'm over here going, hey, move, step out of the way. There's a train headed for you. We have shown you receipt after receipt after receipt of this guy talking about how that we should be dealt with by the military. When he says that to everyone, well, I like you, Brando. I like you, man. I don't agree with your politics, but I like you. Well, you're going to like it when I'm let off in handcuffs. What are you going to say then? That's how serious this is, and everybody thinks that I'm just being hyperbolic. No, this guy is saying that, and he's praising dictators over a former American president. Thought we were just supposed to agree to disagree. I thought we were just supposed to agree to disagree with Barack Obama, but no, he has to always throw his insults and call him Barack Hussein Obama, and then agree with a murderous dictator over one of his own fellow Americans. It's disgusting, and the fact that he still has one supporter is one too many. I never thought we'd be here. I never thought that we would be here in this world, but we're here. And we just have to stay focused, and we have to keep moving forward, and we have to not worry about the retribution from his little cult. Forget it. Let them scream, let them kick, let them do whatever they want to do. Let the Undertaker disappoint you, okay? We don't need the Undertaker. Let him disappoint you. Let your heroes be assholes. Stand on the side of democracy. Realize that, you know what? Once this is over, we can work to restore faith in our system. Once this is over, we can work to restore faith in our democracy, and we can have a country again where we can agree to disagree. But we can't have that Undertaker. Hey, dead man, wake up. Okay, I thought that was a character. I didn't know that was real life. I didn't know you were really dead upstairs. I didn't know that. Wake up, the guy you had sitting there in that chair praised a dictator over a former American president. So tell me again how we're supposed to agree to disagree. It can't be done. Pull your head out of your dead ass. That guy used to be a hero of mine, but Jesus Christ, that's where we're at, folks. And yeah, I'm getting wound up because I see what's coming. Stay focused. Stay focused on American democracy. And thank you for hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to go before I take a stroke, but I love you guys.